In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to apply for a spouse visitor visa to Canada. Who exactly can apply for the spouse visitor visa to Canada? Canadian citizens can apply, persons registered under Canada's Indian Act or permanent residents, and finally, temporary residents. So as usual, the first thing you do is on your web browser, you're going to type in cic.gc.ca, and then you choose English or French depending on what works for you. Once you do that, you are going to go straight down to where it says visit. You click on that, and then when you click on that, you are going to choose apply for a visitor visa and click on that as well. Then under this option number 5, you choose apply. Once you do that, right here, it says, why are you coming to Canada? So to unite with an immediate family member who is a Canadian citizen, person registered under Canada's Indian Act or permanent resident of Canada. And also to unite with an immediate family member who is in Canada temporarily. So for the first option, this is for Canadian citizens, permanent residents, and person registered under Canada's Indian Act. You can also apply for a spouse sponsorship application process. I do have those videos, and I will leave the link in the description area of this video. The reason why I wanted to include this option is if you're someone who is looking for a faster way to bring your spouse over for them to visit you, then the visitor visa, it's a good option because the spouse sponsorship can take longer. Then to unite with an immediate family member who is in Canada temporarily. And this option would be for temporary residents with a study permit or work permit in Canada. And that is the process I'm going to show you guys. You can choose this one if it applies to you, and you can choose this one as well if it applies to you. They're a bit similar, right? So for this option, we're going to choose to unite with an immediate family member who is in Canada temporarily. Once you choose that, we are going to apply for a visitor visa through the ircc portal. So we click on that. Then it's just going to walk you through on the steps on what to do to start the application process. I have a couple videos on how to sign up using the ircc portal account. All you have to do is, once you get to this point and you do not have an account yet, just click on sign up and apply, and then follow the prompt to create your account. But if you have already created an account, then the next thing to do is go to what? Sign in, which is exactly what I am going to do right now. So we click on sign in. Then it's just going to tell you that if you already have an application in process, if you choose to apply again, the current visitor visa application will be withdrawn. So there is no guarantee of a refund. So once you've read this information here, you click on I understand the above. And then finally, they're going to tell you, you will hear from us within 14 to 30 business days. And then you sign in to your ircc portal account by clicking on this button. So once you sign in, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to accept the terms and the conditions. Once you accept the terms and the conditions, right here it says start an application. So this is where you're going to click a button to start an application, right? So we are going to start an application, and I will walk you guys through on the process. Once you click on that, you are just going to see this information here, which says get ready to apply to visit or study in Canada. Take the time to read this information. Then down here, it walks you through on all you have to do till to the point where you're going to submit your application. And it also says after 60 days, the system deletes your information, meaning you have to do everything possible to submit your application within 60 days. Then click I acknowledge and start application. So it's going to ask you, do you want to apply for more than one person at a time? If yes, you are going to choose yes. If no, tick on no, and then save and continue. Then application for a visitor visa or study permit. Here it's going to ask you what you are applying for. So you're going to choose visitor visa or super visa. And then why do you need a visa? You're going to choose for Canadian citizens and permanent residents and person registered under Canada's Indian Act. You are going to choose this one right here. But to unite with an immediate family member who is in Canada temporarily, which is mostly for people with study permit and work permit temporarily in Canada, you're going to choose this option. Once you choose that, then it's going to ask you, are you also requesting a written authorization? Here, you are going to choose no. And the reason behind that is if you go to this point here, it says departing from any country other than the United States. So if you meet, this is kind of like a new rule. It says if you meet the fully vaccinated travel exemption, then you do not need a written authorization to come in. So if you choose that option, yes, if you choose this option, then it's going to request for a written authorization. But if you choose this option, you are going to be coming in as a fully vaccinated traveler because you have the fully vaccinated traveler exemption, right? So we're going to choose no. And then I'm just going to put in here to visit my spouse in Canada. For you, you are going to put the right information that fits your situation right here. This is just an example. So here you are going to enter the date when you're going to when you wish to enter Canada. Also remember that it says here, if you don't know the date you will travel to Canada, select an approximate date. So don't really worry. Just put something in mind that fits the time frame that you intend to enter Canada. And also choose when you would leave Canada. For this demo, I chose July and February, which is approximately 6 months. And then if you have a UCI number, you put it in here. If you do not, save and continue. Then it says you selected visitor visa, unite with an immediate family member who is temporarily in Canada. So take the time to read this. It's just going to tell you that you must also meet one of the following requirements to enter Canada. You qualify for the fully vaccinated traveler exemption, which was exactly what I showed you guys here, right? And you are traveling for a non-discretionary purpose. So you must meet one. So if you are coming in with this option, then you are able to come into Canada. So let's move on. Once you pass that stage, it's going to tell you documents you need to complete this application: a valid passport or travel document, proof of relationship with your immediate family member, proof of your family member's immigration status in Canada. So as we go along, you're going to see the requirements for this application. Also understand that some of the questions that you're going to answer during these eligibility criteria questions is going to be different from the other person, meaning that the documents that you're going to be presenting is going to differ from the other person, right? It is not going to be the same for everyone. So the next thing you're going to do is what? Continue to application. Then here it's going to ask you information for a representative. Are you applying on behalf of someone? So let's say you're someone who is in Canada and you are the one applying for your spouse. You are going to indicate yes. But if your spouse is applying for themselves, then they are going to indicate no. For this option, we're going to choose yes. Are you an authorized paid representative? I'm going to choose no, and then choose that I am a family member who is helping out, right? And then information about the representative, you are going to put the information of the representative, who can actually be either the spouse in Canada or just a family member in Canada or outside of Canada. Input all the information of the representative. Also, I'm going to add, I'm also going to include the link to the representative form in the description area of this video so that you can actually use that link, fill out the information there, and upload in this application process. Let's quickly move on. So you fill out all that good information and put their email address, then you save and continue. Then travel document information of the applicant. So this is going to be the information of the applicant who is the spouse, right? So you're going to put their last name. The first name is optional, so you can still put it or not. Provide the date of their birth. their gender. So if you're a female in Canada trying to invite your spouse, it's going to be a male. And then if you're a male inviting your spouse, it's going to be a female, right? So save and continue. Then travel document of the applicant. So here we are choosing a passport, official. Select the country code that matches the one on the passport, the nationality of the passport, passport or travel document number. Then confirm your passport or travel document number as well. And then the date it was issued and the expiring date. Also remember this information right here. It says make sure your passport is valid enough to cover the time you want to be in Canada. Your passport expiry date will determine the expiry date of the document you are applying for. It's important to remember this information here. So once you answer that information, once you put this information, rather, you go down here and answer all these questions. It's going to ask you a couple questions here. Take time to read it. And then, are you traveling to Canada by air? Yes or no. Finish that option and then you save and continue. Citizenship and places where the applicant has lived. So here you're going to put country or territory where you were born, the city. If you are you a citizen of more than one country or territory? Yes or no. Which country or territory are you a citizen of? You indicate that, and then I am a citizen of this country or territory since that. You check that off. If no, then you are going to uncheck it and then fill out the information on when you became a citizen of that country. Save and continue. National identity document of the applicant. So if you have a national identity document number, you're just going to choose yes and put that information here. But also remember that if you include this, you are going to be submitting this as part of the documents requested for this application process. So for this option, I'm going to choose no, save and continue. If you've used names in the past, choose yes and indicate that information here by adding the names. But if you haven't, choose no, save and continue. Countries or territories of residence. What's your residential address? Here, you're going to choose your country, your street address, your city or town, and then your mailing address if it's the same with your residential address. And then here it says countries or territories of residence. As you can see here, all you have to do is click on this button and add the information. You can see I already gave an example here, which is the country, my status in that country, and the time frame in that country as well. So once you put that information, save and continue. Biometrics information. Here, it says, do we already have your fingerprints and photo biometrics, and are they still valid? If yes, then you're going to give them your biometrics. So if yes, you are going to answer more questions. It says, do you want to give your biometrics again? So simply say yes or no. So for this option, just to make this video short, I'm going to just stick to no, save and continue. Then here is where you're going to put the information of who is inviting you. So it's going to be your spouse in Canada, obviously. And if that person is also your representative, then they're going to be the ones to fill this out. So you're going to put their last name, their full name, their first name rather, their relationship with you. There is a drop-down menu here. So their relationship with you, mailing address in Canada, put that information, and then their phone number, their email. Has someone else also invited you? Yes or no answer, save and continue. Then for your finances, here it says, this is always an approximation of the numbers I use based on me inviting as in my mom over in Canada. I always use this as an approximation. So how much money do you have for your stay in Canada? You are going to indicate that number here. And is someone else giving you money for your stay in Canada? So for this example, I just said, my husband is a software engineer in Canada. I will be supporting my stay. So put the information just to back your application to help your application to be approved, right? So once you put that information in, you save again and continue. So information about your education, work and other activities. So in here it says post-secondary education history. Have you ever studied at the post-secondary school? You're going to indicate yes or no. If you indicate yes, you are going to put the name of your school, and you can do that by clicking on this button right here. So, or you can follow the example of what I gave right here, which is the name of the school, the time you started there, your level of study, field of study, and when you finished, and the address as well, right? Once you finish that, you are going to go further to work/activity history. If you have experience or if you've served in any military, you indicate yes. If no, choose no. And then again, this is the part that I've always gotten questions from subscribers. Here it says, give details of your employment and activities for the past 10 years. Remember this, give details of your employment and activities for the past 10 years. This is the most important place to pay attention to. It says, for all other periods of time, you need to enter an occupation or activity. Don't leave any other gaps. As you can see right here, I have information, work and activity for the past 10 years, starting 2010, right? Till current, till date. So here I started with 2010-01 and to 2014 December, right? 2010-01 to 2014 December. And in here, I said that my work was in art, culture, recreation, and sport activity. So for those 4 years, I was working here. And then from 2015 January, as you can see, there was no gap from 2014-12 and 2015-01. So from there to 2018-12, I was unemployed. So per se, I was in school, which was the information I have right here. So I was in school then, so I was unemployed. Again, this is a demo application. This is just me making up this information to help someone who is going to use this application process. So again, after 2018 December, I started again from 2019-01 till date, meaning that I'm in sales, service and services occupation, the job title, the company, the time. So the only thing I wanted you guys to remember is for this ones here, there were what? No gaps in that application process. Don't leave any other gaps. Once you put that information, the next thing you're going to do, and to do that, you're going to click this button right here. Once you finish that phase, you are going to do what? Save and continue. Then your travel history. If you've traveled during the past 5 years, all you have to do is you are going to indicate yes and add the information right here. But if you haven't, indicate no, save, and continue. Then finish up with the travel history. Answer these questions. These ones are kind of as in self-explanatory, yes or no answer, save and continue. We've actually done the most important areas or the hardest areas. So here now it's going to be criminality and security questions. So here you're going to answer questions concerning alcohol or drugs. Answer a yes or no answer based on what fits you. Save and continue. Finish up the security and criminality questions. Then you go to medical background questions. Have you had a medical exam performed by an IRCC authorized panel physician within the last 12 months? If you have, indicate yes and put your number here, or it says, if known, please provide your immigration medical examination or unique medical identifier here. If you don't have that, just simply choose no, save, and continue. Finish up medical background questions on tuberculosis, answer a yes or no, and then go on to medical background questions on dialysis treatment, alcohol addiction, mental health, and syphilis questions. Answer a yes or no answer, as in yes or no to those questions, and then you get to family information. So for marital status, you are going to indicate married, because as your spouse, you guys are married and you are inviting them over to Canada, right? So here is going to ask you for date of marriage or start of common law relationship. So you're going to provide that information, the name of the spouse or common law partner, and then the date when they were born. Remember that this is going to be the person inviting you over, right? Because you are the applicant who is being invited, filling out this application process. So date of birth, month and day, the country, present occupation, and present address of spouse. Once you fill out all that information and their address in Canada, you get down here and it says, will your spouse or common law partner? Just say no because they're already in Canada. Save and continue. Then if you guys have children, all you have to do is you click on yes and add that information by simply clicking again on this button. But if you don't have kids, choose no and click on I understand that I'm not declaring any natural, adopted or step children. Save again and continue. So here you're going to tell them about your parents. Same thing, if you don't have any parents, just check on this box here. But if you have parents, just like I did, by clicking on this box, you are going to do what? Put their last name, their first name, their relationship, when they were born, present occupation, and then save and continue again. Then language of the applicant. Here in the drop-down menu, you have so many options. Choose what fits you. Choose how you communicate and which language do you want them to use to communicate with you. Save and continue. Then present or give your email address of the applicant. Choose that as well. And then telephone number on how they're going to reach you, right? Finish up that one again by clicking on this button and putting in the information there. Then save and continue. Then summary of your information. So here you have the option to review your application. If you feel like there is something you need to update, you are going to do so by clicking on this edit button and working on each and every option here to make sure that your application or you filled in the right information there. If you don't have anything to update, scroll all the way down to where it says save and continue. Then here is documents to support your application. So based on the answers I provided for this application for spouse visitor visa to Canada, it is telling me that I need to provide proof of relationship. So sometimes this can be confusing. All you need to do is you click on this and it explains, it gives you a deep as an explanation or a detailed explanation of the type of proof of a relationship that you can provide. So for here it says proof of your relationship to your family member, for example, a marriage certificate, things like that. So if you're a little bit confused, do the same with the passport, the funds proof, use of representative. Like I said, this will be in the description area of this video. Then family member proof of status. You can click on each and every one of them to know exactly what this means. Then optional documents, you don't have to worry about that. Once you've gathered all these documents that you need for your application, upload each and every one of them. Then remember, you have 60 days to submit this application. Again, you upload, save, and continue. Then consent and declaration. So it says, do you consent to be contacted? You're going to choose yes or no. I'm just going to say yes. And then you do what? You provide your last name and your given name if needed. Scroll all the way down where it says save and continue. And then it's telling you that for the visitor visa for one person, it's going to be $100 and the biometrics is going to be $85. So in total, for the visitor, the spouse visitor visa application process, you're going to pay $185. Once you get to this point, again, you save and continue. Then once you do that, we are going to go to the final phase of this application, which is what? Put your card holder's name, card number, month and expiring date and your code, and then you click on checkout and you make your payment. This is how to apply for a spouse visitor visa to Canada application. If you have any questions, leave it in the description area, leave it in the comment section of this video and I will attend to it.